It was a star-studded send-off for the greatest voice of our time, Aretha Franklin. Right behind us in the Greater Grace Temple, they streamed her funeral to a worldwide audience. But we were the only show backstage with the superstar performers who came to pay tribute to Aretha. We have all the moments that you didn't see as we said goodbye to the Queen of Soul.
I have no words, you know. I want to be here for the Queen.
Jennifer Hudson honored the Queen of Soul with Amazing Grace. Faith Hill, the first soloist at Aretha's homegoing, set the gospel tone with a soul-infused version of What a Friend We Have in Jesus. Afterward, she was overcome with emotion.
Oh, I can't even speak. It's too much. Thank you.
Ariana Grande, who arrived with fiancé Pete Davidson, paid tribute with an Aretha classic. Pete was waiting backstage.
Come on.
What does it mean to be here and perform today?
Everything. Aretha Franklin she is music. She is music.
Lord, I was lost. Oh, yeah.
And I spoke to an emotional Chaka Khan before her performance today of the gospel song, Going Up Yonder.
I loved her very much. We loved each other. I'm honored to be able to be here and give her a beautiful send-off.
The producer behind today's ceremony, Curtis Farrell, told me the biggest names in music were happy to honor Aretha.
Everyone was just excited and said absolutely, because everybody knew that this is a history-making moment. We truly have lost a history maker.
There were so many powerful speakers today. I had a chance to talk to Motown legend Smokey Robinson just moments before he paid tribute to his friend of nearly 70 years.
Aretha was my longest friend who was still alive. So now, you know, she's gone home, and so I'm here to make sure that she has a great homegoing and to celebrate her life. Really gonna miss you. It's really gonna be different without you.
From childhood friends in Detroit to Motown stars and ultimately lifelong confidants, inside Smokey recalled the first time he heard Aretha's God-given voice.
8 years old. You're singing, and that was my first meeting and my first sight of you. And you're going to be one of the featured voices in the choir of angels because, you know, you'd have to be.
She gave it all, everything that God gave her as far as her gift is concerned, she used it. And she used it also to make a difference in the world.
Gladys Knight joined stars like Whoopi Goldberg, Tyler Perry, Cecily Tyson, and Jennifer Lewis.
Of course there will be tears, but we have her music. I wake up and go, oh me, oh my. Chain, 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 down. You gotta think. Oh my God.
That song, Think, was played at the end of President Clinton's tribute.
The key to freedom. God bless you, Aretha. We love you.
There were 27 speakers who paid their respects to the Queen of Soul. Let me give you a few more numbers from the service. There were 18 musical tributes, and this was supposed to be a private funeral for 4,000 people, but at the last moments, the family decided to let in 1,000 members of the public. Earlier, 6 pallbearers ushered the Queen of Soul down her last ever red carpet into the temple. Inside, 7 video cameras and 3 still photographers captured these candid moments. Aretha was again dressed in those Christian Louboutins, 4 wardrobe changes in 4 days, fitting for a queen.
Because Aretha was a very classy woman, she wouldn't have step at all. I love the red bottom shoes.
And this was a heartwarming sight. As a tribute to her hit Freeway of Love, more than 100 pink Cadillacs were brought in from all over the country and parked just outside the chapel.
Usually, if it moves me, then other people like it.
Aretha told E.T. she knew her 1985 single would be a hit.
The video was a lot of fun. It was my first. We did it at Doug's Body Shop here in Detroit. I thought it was very nice.
And today, it was fitting to see this Cadillac, a white 1940 two-door LaSalle, again transport Aretha's body. In 1984, it carried her father, the Reverend C.L. Franklin, to his funeral, and in 2005, Rosa Parks. Franklin sang at that service in the same chapel and told us about honoring her fellow civil rights icon.
I have a great respect and admiration for her courage.
This really was one of those days you'll never forget, and it was the perfect send-off for royalty. Now, Aretha will be buried in the same cemetery as her father and Rosa Parks. You know, we were so lucky to be blessed with time in Detroit with Aretha, and a little bit later, a special treat, Aretha in her father's church, the place where she found her voice with a final goodbye.